Coming up, Tzu Chi volunteers hold a large-scale winter aid distribution for the needy in South Africa's Pretoria. We see how a cup of coffee can be a stepping stone to Tzu Chi and meeting Master Zheng Yan. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Mary Lee. Thank you for joining us. As winter makes its presence felt and temperatures plummet around South Africa, Tzu Chi volunteers organized a large-scale distribution in Pretoria on June 29th. Representatives of the Taipei Liaison Office, Michael Xu, and South African members of parliament were also on site to provide assistance.
The many trucks entering the venue is a preview of what will come next. Tzu Chi volunteers guide local residents to the correct waiting area and hand out candy and biscuits to children as they wait for the distribution to begin. Next, volunteers lead participants in various activities to lighten up the mood.
I wish everyone here to have a winter.
South African members of parliament, government officials, as well as Michael Xu, representative of the Taipei Liaison Office, all show their support for Tzu Chi through action.
They've never eaten rice since the past 6 months. So for them to have somebody from far away to come and bring this rice and other gifts to them, it opens their hearts.
Here in South Africa's administrative capital, Pretoria, 3,000 impoverished families each received 2 bags of rice along with scarves, stockings, and aid supplies that will help them get through the bleak winter months. Media volunteers climb on top of the container truck to capture the scene of the distribution. A sea of people dressed in vivid colors brings out the beauty of this rainbow nation. Making the best out of every situation, volunteers lead residents in a sign language song while standing inside the empty container truck. Volunteers immediately rush over to help a local resident whose bag of rice broke. Local volunteers also hold banners to recruit more bodhisattvas to join their ranks.
I'm standing here, I'm telling the people that they can come and join Tzu Chi's Foundation, they can volunteer.
Working from dawn till dusk, the large-scale distribution ended in an atmosphere of gratitude and love.
Every month, Hualien Tzu Chi volunteers will hold an aid distribution at the Jingse abode for their care recipients. This time, 47 families returned to the abode to bask in the warmth of Tzu Chi.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Hualien gather in the kitchen at the Jingse abode to prepare a delicious vegetarian banquet for Tzu Chi care recipients during their monthly aid distribution.
We've already planned out which dish goes where. We also cooked the noodles the day before and made sure not to overcook the noodles.
Volunteers show a clip of how livestock are butchered to help spread the message of vegetarianism.
I'm determined to be a vegetarian because seeing the video that shows how they process the meat is horrifying. Eating meat in a way also takes a toll on our spirit, so we should all become vegetarians.
Leading recipients in chanting Guan Yin Bodhisattva's name, everyone prays for peace for all sentient beings. In return, the some 50 care recipients give within their means to help the less fortunate and thus become a benefactor in society.
The Tzu Chi Malaysia chapter organized a New Shoot Scholarship Award ceremony for 181 needy students at the Penang Jingse Hall. One of the recipients, Cho Chen-li, who lost both of his parents when young, has been raised single-handedly by his grandmother. The young man's wish is to become one day a doctor so that he can treat the poor free of charge. And Tzu Chi's scholarship brings him one step closer.
Knowing that his grandma has trouble walking, 11-year-old Cho Chen-li assists her every step of the way. Today, Penang Tzu Chi volunteers are holding their 10th New Shoot Scholarship Award ceremony at the Jingsi Hall. Raised single-handedly by his grandmother, Chen-li serves his grandma a cup of tea to express his gratitude.
He's a very obedient boy. He always listens to his grandma. He does his homework on his own and goes to school all by himself.
Grandma, I love you.
The tea serving ceremony fills the hall with moving scenes. Many parents haven't even taken a sip of the tea yet before tears have already welled up in their eyes.
When the children served the tea, I couldn't hold back my tears. Maybe because it reminded me of my own parents. They've passed away, so I'm not able to serve them tea. That is why I became overwhelmed with sadness.
It's been a while since I spoke with my mom or served her tea. I usually make her angry all the time, and I feel really bad about that now.
181 students of 28 primary and high schools received Tzu Chi scholarship aid. School representatives were also invited to attend the award ceremony to better understand Tzu Chi scholarship program.
Because of the help these children receive when they grow up, they will also give back to society. If they have the ability, they can also contribute to bettering our society.
Despite their hardships and challenges, these students remain diligent and conscientious. With the help of volunteers, they are brought one step closer to realizing their dreams.
In Taiwan, the government runs a rehab bus that helps transport the disabled at a discount rate. Though the service is convenient, there are many limitations. Rather than just complain about the problems, one young man started DaAi Care and Service, the first private transportation service that caters to the disabled and their families. With overwhelming support from the public, the company is also the first social enterprise to be traded on Taiwan's stock market.
He was really nice to me when we were younger, so now it's only right that I take care of him.
Though Huang Meiyu is devoted to her husband, it is not easy for a senior to care for a disabled senior.
I constantly massage him like this, and it really helps. Otherwise, his hands are always clenched into a fist. He needs to poop. He can't do it alone. I have to help him. I can only carry him on my back now. I can't carry him with my arms anymore. I first have him latch onto my shoulder and move him like this. I get injured constantly. Just look at my arms.
Unwilling to cope with the strenuous work, all previous foreign caretakers have run away. Though Miss Huang is under tremendous stress both mentally and physically, she still does not want to send her beloved husband away.
Once, my arms just couldn't take it anymore, so I sent him to a caring home for 21 days. Before he went in, he could eat on his own and walk, but once inside, he was hooked to a feeding tube. His body just fell apart. So no, I won't do that again. Since this is my fate, I can only endure and do my best.
Miss Wang says the couple used to travel together and created irreplaceable and unforgettable memories. So she does not want to leave her husband behind when she goes out.
Tomorrow, I had planned on going to the hospital. Now, to get a rehab bus, you can either book early or call for a standby, but I have never successfully got through to a standby.
Miss Wang needs to go back to the hospital today. They cannot take a taxi, and though they have a disabled manual, they can't get a rehab bus. In the past, she would have to postpone her appointment, but now there's a new option.
When we leave our home, they will help me with a wheelchair. It is actually quite difficult and heavy. They are always eager to help. Before, I saw others getting injured while pushing a wheelchair, and I thought, how hard can it be? But after doing this myself, I know it's really tiresome.
The van dispatched by DaAi Care and Service is equipped with a lift that can load and unload wheelchairs.
手小心哦。好，来，我来。哦，有一个束带。嘿。
Now we are locking down the wheelchair. There are a total of 4 anchors that will help secure the wheelchair. We will remind them every time they board because safety is the most important.
Currently, there are about 700,000 home caregivers just like Miss Huang. If they can come out more frequently, perhaps they will have a chance to breathe and relax.
See, whenever he comes out, he will open his eyes. To be honest, he loves going out. I think his condition deteriorates slower this way.
In Taiwan, over 850,000 people are disabled. However, the nation is way behind in handicap accessibility, and is thus unable to meet the needs of these people. As one who had experienced the same ordeal, Xu Zuofu decided to act.
I know exactly what these families go through because my own grandma is wheelchair bound due to an injury. I then realized that this is already the 21st century, yet our service for the disabled is so outdated. With so many families in need, rather than complain about it, I decided to do something about it.
Rather than just complain about the problems we see every day, Xu Zuofu decided to do what he could to help make this island more handicap-friendly.
To safeguard the health of women living in far-flung corners of Indonesia, Tzu Chi volunteers recently partnered with a local business and a university in Padang to hold a free cervical cancer screening.
This is 34-year-old Vivid Sunati, a mother of 3 children. To make ends meet, Vivid washes clothing to support her family. However, she is always concerned about her health.
I'm really worried that if I fall ill, who can I ask to help me take care of my children?
To benefit women like Vivid, who may be vulnerable to cervical cancer, a free cervical screening is available for them.
I heard that the cost of cervical screening in hospitals is very high. Since this cervical screening is for free, I decided to take the screening.
Many of the Minangkabau ethnic group live here in Padang. Women play an important role in that culture. Most of them are employed and very diligent, as this is part of their tradition. We know women's health should not be ignored. That's why we organize a cervical cancer screening here.
To not only help women safeguard their health, but also spread the right message, Tzu Chi volunteers organize a cervical cancer screening with the help of a local business and a university.
Taking the examination as early as possible is the best way to prevent the cancer. Even if women do not have abnormal vaginal bleeding or vaginal discharge, they should take a pap smear on a regular basis with appropriate follow-up checkups.
Thanks to Tzu Chi and its partners, 100 women gain a better understanding of the disease and how to take preventative measures to better protect their health.
Located in the financial district of Taipei, Jingsi Books and Cafe's Nova Hall branch was a quiet corner for business people to clear their minds. Next, we meet Tzu Chi volunteer Huang Anjie, whose affinity with Tzu Chi started with a cup of coffee. Among the hustle and bustle of Taipei's financial district, the Jingsi Books and Cafe at Novo Hall was a tranquil corner for those seeking peace of mind. It is also where Huang Anjie first met Tzu Chi.
The former chairman of Zhonghua Telecom invited me to coffee there once. Previous to that encounter, I didn't know anything about Tzu Chi. So I was curious what kind of a company, what kind of a storefront, what kind of an employer could train workers like that. With enthusiastic workers and heartwarming volunteers, the bookstore attracted many business people who later became loyal customers. Among them was former chairman of the router and Ethernet switch producer, Acton.
He often visited our bookstore, so one day I invited him to speak at a workshop.
From that moment on, it seemed Huang's affinity with Tzu Chi only strengthened with time.
Over Chinese New Year, Maureen called and asked where I was.
He said his whole family happened to be in Hualien.
Then she invited us to the abode, and when I saw Master Zeng Yan, tears fell.
Meeting Master Zhenyan for the first time, Huang was inspired to walk the Tzu Chi path. Previously, without direction in life, the man's outlook on life changed.
If you open the trunk of his car, you'll see that it is filled with Jingzi products, ready to be given to a friend in need of spiritual guidance. In the past, his presents were cigarettes or alcohol.
Gifting them with Jinsi aphorism, ensuring life experiences is more valuable than giving luxury items.
In Huang's eyes, the most beneficial gift is still the master's dharma. Thus, he has recruited many of his employees as volunteers.
Doesn't the master often mention plant one seed of compassion today, for you will bear thousands of fruits tomorrow?
Knowing Tzu Chi volunteers in other countries do not have easy access to Master Zhenyan's dharma, Huang used his expertise to help build Tzu Chi's video conferencing infrastructure. In 2008, U.S. Tzu Chi volunteers were able to video conference with Hualian's Jingse abode for the first time. From that point forward, Tzu Chi's Dharma family across the globe was able to stay connected to Master Zhenyan via a live feed.
在100多个点，同时呢，要听师父说话。我真的实在是很感恩，也是很感动。
Counting his blessings, Huang thanks the bookstore for being the stepping stone between himself and Master Zhenyan.
My biggest wish is that the Jinsi books and cafe can be found everywhere, as they truly are a cultivation ground.
Recently, on June 29th, Tzu Chi University's Continuing Education Center in Taoyuan organized an annual event to celebrate its students' accomplishments. Students, both young and old, came together to perform what they have learned over the past year and exhibited their creations for all to see.
Students put on a dance performance to the accompaniment of a popular song. Later, the elegance of a sign language performance wins a round of applause from the audience. Today, Tzu Chi University's Continuing Education Center in Taoyuan has organized an annual performance in which students are asked to go on stage to mark the year-end achievement in any way they see fit. Among them are foreign spouses who put on a traditional dance to share their culture with the audience.
I want to learn everything, especially Tzu Chi sign language songs. That's my next goal. After I watched the performance, I was very moved. It's been very helpful for us.
Because of their interactions, they will be open to one another, making it easier for us to learn each other's life story.
At the event, students also display their art creations. Among them is 84-year-old Chen Yonglu, who has never stopped learning despite the time it takes him to get to the center.
One's value does not lie in how long you have lived, but how much you have learned. If you don't continue to learn as you grow older, your life and energy will soon falter.
Regardless of age or nationality, these students seize every opportunity to fill their lives with various activities and new friends.
Staying in Taiwan, Tzu Chi volunteers held a training seminar for 430 community volunteers from Beitou, Shiling, and Danshui districts. During the event, Tzu Chi volunteer Zhang Xiuli and her son shared their stories with those in the audience.
At the Tzu Chi Guanzhu Grant in New Taipei City, 430 community volunteers from Shiling, Beitou, and Danshui districts have gathered together to attend a volunteer training seminar. Sharing his story with those in the audience is Tzu Chi volunteer Ling Yufan.
After I left the hospital, I started visiting veteran homes and a home for the disabled in Bali with my mother. Although I'm paralyzed from the waist down, there are still a lot of things that I can do.
I always told Yufan that maybe our past lives weren't that great, so it is very important for us to follow the master in this life. We need to live a more meaningful life.
although left paralyzed from the waist down following a car accident. With a quick change of mindset, Ling decided to face life with a positive attitude. Inspired by Ling's attitude, Xu Renqing, who went through a similar ordeal, decided to let go of her hatred.
I always try my best to think positively. If I keep hatred in my heart, it'll affect my ability to heal. I think it is better if I put everything behind and just work on my rehabilitation.
After listening to Ling Yufan's story, many volunteers have realized their blessings and learned to be grateful.
My problem is really small compared to his. When I encountered my problem, the Tzu brothers and sisters were there to support me. My sister and brother-in-law also helped me walk through that difficult time. I'm extremely grateful for their support.
Thanks to a volunteer training seminar, community volunteers have learned important lessons that will give them the courage to continue to walk firmly down the Tzu path.
In our next report, we go to Canada's British Columbia to meet Surrey Tzu volunteer Hu Meizhu and her husband Liao Chunzhi. 13 years ago, the couple immigrated to Canada and started to plant trees and flowers in their backyard. What is special about their garden is that most of the plants are those previously discarded by others. However, under Hu's skillful hands, these plants have turned into beautiful decorations.
Sharing tips on flower arrangement is Tzu volunteer Hu Meizhu, who says the process of flower arrangement can not only beautify the environment, but also cultivate the spirit.
I still remember, before I retired, my students asked me what I'll be doing when I move to Canada. I told them that I want to learn how to be a person of elegance.
With creativity, commonly found flowers and plants can be transformed into a beautiful corsage or table decorations. Behind Hu's transformation from amateur to expert is her husband Liao Chunzhi, who cherishes old resources.
These plants were discarded by others, and my husband brought them home. At first, I felt it was not a good idea because they blocked the beautiful view of the backyard.
However, these plants are widely used in flower arrangements. If you go to a plant nursery, you will find that these plants are more expensive than flowers.
Yes, so you picked up a treasure, right?
This cedar tree was going to be recycled. Someone left a sign that said free on it, so I decided to bring it home.
In Liao's backyard, one finds plants and flowers widely used to decorate the venues at Tzu events.
This is a leaf of a cypress tree. I use them to decorate the venue for Tzuji's Buddha Day ceremony.
Over the past 13 years, Hu and her husband have devoted themselves wholeheartedly to their garden. In the years to come, they will continue to use the same mindset as they walk the Bodhisattva path.
The need to promote environmental awareness continues in Malaysia. Recently, the UTAR campus in Kuala Lumpur invited local Tzu to promote these concepts to its students in a 3-day event. We will leave you with these images at the end of the show. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. See you next time.